Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzalez, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
We're back from a fun little trip to Utah.
It was a lot of fun.
I got to meet a bajillion nieces, nephews, brothers-in-laws, sister-in-laws. Rachel's got a huge family.
Yes, I have 7 sisters and 3 brothers, and with me that totals 11 kids. And then mom and dad is 13, so there's 13 in the household.
Man, it was wild, right? There's like 23 people under your sister's roof when we were there visiting.
Yes, staying there so that they could come and celebrate Flaherty, my youngest sister, getting sealed to her spouse and her children. So that's a big deal. If you know anything about the Mormon religion, being sealed is a special way that they combine families, and it's the way that they get married.
Yeah.
And it's just really a special thing. It was a really big deal for Flaherty that we were there.
It really was. And I enjoyed meeting so much of your family.
Yeah.
Well, on this trip, some things came full circle for Rachel and I that we thought, okay, we got to record a podcast about this. Not only is it important for us in seeing this and having this experience, but I think that you listening have this exact same experience for you and your family, but it's just going to look different.
Yeah.
And I think that you'll relate a lot to this as well. So there's always a story behind something that has great meaning. And for us, what came full circle was, this is why we have a business.
Yeah.
So you think back, why did you start the business? You might have been really good at something and you're like, I can totally turn this into a business.
Yeah.
But you also might have been of the persuasion that is, we could write our own paycheck and do things that people with jobs simply will never be able to do the way that we can do it.
Absolutely. Well, and owning a business, there are 2 things that I think about, and they both fall under the caveat or the word freedom. Freedom in time and freedom in money. And we are able to make money, and we are able to increase our income by how many clients we bring in. And then we are able to also have the freedom of time and choose where we work. We don't actually have to be at home to do the work that we do. We don't have to be in New Mexico. We don't have to be at our house. We just need internet, Wi-Fi connection, So a lot of freedom. That's what it means to me to have a business. And I'm really excited to talk about this topic.
Yeah, well, and when you grow your business, even if your business is physically located somewhere, when you really grow the business and you hire,
yes,
you can run the business from anywhere.
Right, remotely, because you have your team that's very well trained. They know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So about 1.5 years ago, Rachel and I made our first journey together as a family with Lincoln, our oldest. We didn't have August yet, our youngest, out to Utah for a funeral.
Yeah, for my dad's oldest brother.
Mm-hmm. And as we are driving from Albuquerque, New Mexico to the Salt Lake Valley,
yep,
about 9-hour drive, we went through Moab, Utah.
Yes. And I remember telling you, I've driven through here so many times and I've never once stopped. And I remember tears coming to my eyes. And even just thinking about it makes me want to cry, because I have found myself driving through my life and never taking a pit stop, never looking at the things, never being interested in things, never having a desire. It's almost like I've just chosen to not want things so that I wouldn't be disappointed, because I grew up really in such poverty, and a poverty mindset of I'll never have that thing. And it's not just a thing, it's all the things. Very, very little for myself. Yeah. So putting myself and my desires and having goals and dreams really just wasn't a possibility.
And through that discussion, we saw the systemic side of what that level of poverty created in your life and your family's life was. You were just driving through to get to the destination.
Yes.
You were rushing
Yes.
to get there as fast as possible. The resources to stop and appreciate some of the things
Right.
did not
exist. No way.
So I was like, we're driving through Moab, and if you've been through there, Arches National Park, the entrance is less than 100 yards from the freeway.
Right.
You
From the road
literally
that you're
have
on.
to drive past it, and it's right there.
Yeah.
And you go up
And
this
it's-
little bluff, and right on the other side of it, boom, there's already beautiful stuff going on.
In less than a mile.
In less than a mile.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was just like, wow. And so what did you say
I
after
committed.
that?
I told you I will never drive through my life again. Next time we go through here, I want to stop. I want to see the National Arches National Park, I think.
Yep. It's a park, yeah.
And we did. That's what we did this time. So in February, we went to my sister Flaherty's Ceiling. This event was happening on a Saturday, I think, and we just went out early, like Wednesday, and we took a whole day. We stayed the night in Moab, and then we took that afternoon, and went down a little hike with our boys. And it was wonderful. It was beautiful. It was so incredible. And we took a little hike with our boys to, I think, the most iconic arch in all of the park.
Delicate arch.
And that's the one that's on the license plates and has always made me want to see the Arches National Park.
Yeah,
I always
promise.
forget. It's
a
like
park.
national.
We have a couple national monuments that are right here around us in Albuquerque, so I think
Yes.
that might be part of what's like messing with your head.
Yeah.
Well, and then it was just not the normal day at Arches. It wasn't hot. It was very overcast, almost misty.
Yes.
So you could like look out into the horizon and see the different layers of...
Right, because it was a backdrop of clouds, like one after the other, so you could actually see all the different nuances of all the things in the distance that you actually might need to hike to go see. So I felt like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah. So we got the time to really cruise through all of it, do a short hike. We went and stopped
We didn't just drive through it.
No, we went...
actually got out, my feet touched the soil. I did it.
Yes. We went through the only campground that's in Arches.
Yep.
Where...
And you remember having stayed there a number of years ago.
I stayed there like 12, 13 years ago with my friend Mike Baltus. He took me out there and shared Arches with me. So we just got to spend that whole day, and then we made the final trek into the Salt Lake Valley.
And it was great. It was just so chill. It wasn't a really long day for the boys.
And
August and Lincoln loved it.
It was cool because we remembered how when we first got together, before we had children, we took several trips that were similar to that, had the same kind of feel.
We just loved it. You know, I don't know, if you love camping, you know the kickback feel of camping. You're out there, you are where you want to be, you're with the person that you want to be with. It's so special. And doing that small thing, stopping and being there in Moab and then going on into that park was really, really cool and just made me even more so. I want more experiences like that with our children. I would like to help foster that love of adventure with them.
So I would just say that I'm all in.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's in between us and having that as our reality all the time is, number one, planning for it.
Correct.
So like you have to have an idea of what you want to do this year. Is it something big every quarter? Is it just one more big thing? Or what is it? Number two is you put the money and resources aside for it.
Yep, you budget.
We have a ton of great podcasts about how we do that with Profit First. So we'll put those in the show notes.
Yeah.
Just go to babiesandbiz.com/ and then type in this episode number and you can see all those other podcasts we'll have mentioned. Yeah. So put it out there, put the resources aside for it, and then what? Enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Right? So we would...
And wait, before we get to the end of this, I really want to mention, so when we were in Moab, they had this book in the Airbnb that told you about the space, told you about where you were staying, told you about the town, all those things that might be interesting to a tourist that was there. And there was a quote, and this quote is awesome. Don't let your memories be greater than your dreams. And I feel like that to me, gosh, it made me cry because for so long, my memories have been greater than my dreams. And I plan on dreaming big and achieving every single one of those.
That's beautiful. It's a great way to end us here. If you go to babiesandbiz.com / 76. You'll see the show notes, but you'll also see our community question. So we want to know from you, when you scroll to the bottom of that page, let us know. What is the thing you've been putting off?
Yeah, that you maybe commit not to now.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting it off for what reason?
So we'd love to hear, like, what's that thing you're putting off? What are you going to put back on the map this year for you and your family? You know, you got to take time to stop and smell the arches.
Exactly.
Whatever that is for you, we'd love to hear about it. So thanks for listening. If there's somebody you know that needs to hear this episode that might be going through maybe a little bit of a rut, you could see that that magic in them, you know, is there, but they just need something like this.
Maybe they lost the fire or something. You know,
this will help. You know, this will be that thing to look forward to. Just copy the link to the episode, share it in a text.
Yeah.
Right? It's a big gift. So thanks for listening. If you haven't already, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. It will help us get the show out to more listeners. And with that, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business Podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.